Hey guys, welcome back to Comic-Con. I'm Justin Tyler for Newsarama.com, talking to Jeff Lemire. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. Thanks for taking a minute to talk to us. You just finished a drawing demonstration. That was your first time doing it.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. I did 3 drawings. The first one was a little nervous, but they got better. I loosened up a bit as I went on. So.
That's awesome. I think that's such a cool part of the DC panel this year. So let's talk about all the stuff you're doing. You're doing so many things for DC these days. You want to talk Justice League Dark? You're just taking over?
Yeah, man. The first 2 are out, but I have a big story planned. The fun thing about that book is the core of the team is Constantine, John Constantine, Zatanna, and Deadman. They're kind of like the unholy trinity, as the reverse Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman or something. But the rest of the team's really fluid, and different members will come and go depending on the mission, which is really fun for me, to keep it fresh. And we just announced that one of my favorite characters to write, Frankenstein, is joining the Justice League Dark, and another old Vertigo property is coming back, Timothy Hunter and the Books of Magic, and that's kind of the Books of Magic, and the secret of the Books of Magic is sort of the overarching story that I'm building, and anyone who thinks they know what the books might be is probably completely wrong. I'll say that because I have a huge surprise plan. So, Timothy Hunter's ultimate destiny that was always hinted at in the Vertigo books, and how he was supposed to become the greatest sorcerer or magician in the DC universe. That we see that happen, and again in a way that I think was never the original intent, something totally different. That just leads to a bigger story. So I'm really excited about it.
That's cool. So there's been a lot of Vertigo properties sort of moving into the DC universe. Is that something that you've sort of helped? Did you ask to use Timothy Hunter, or was it sort of like, hey, it's all part of the same world now, let's go crazy?
That one was kind of tricky because Neil Gaiman actually created. He is a DC property, but he was created by Neil Gaiman. So I felt, even though maybe technically I could have just used him, I felt out of respect I wanted to ask to use him. So I asked Karen Berger, and she asked Neil, and Neil actually sent me a really lovely email one day, giving me his blessing, and just his only request is that I do something different with him and make him fresh and different than what he was, and which is what I want to do anyway. So that was really cool, and obviously getting that kind of an email from one of your heroes and one of the guys whose work is the reason I'm doing what I do is pretty awesome. So
that's really cool. Another Vertigo property that is yours, Sweet Tooth, is he going to pop up in Justice League Dark now too, since you can do that?
That would be great, but no, I don't think so. Sweet Tooth obviously is coming to an end. December's issue 40 is going to be double size, partially painted by me, and it's kind of bittersweet. This is a story I've been telling for 3.5 years now, and I'll miss the characters and I'll miss working on it, but at the same time I've always had the ending in mind, and to be able to get to that ending that I wanted to do and do it in my own way is really creatively really fulfilling, so it's exciting, for me.
It's such a bleak sort of world that you've created there. Are they going to end and just have a nice house with a pool?
Everyone dies. Everyone dies, and it's really miserable the way they die. No. It is. The whole book is that contrast between the innocence of childhood and sort of this harsh, violent world that they're thrown into, and that's the tension at the center of the book, and it will continue to be right to the end. But without giving anything away, I wouldn't make this depressing story if there wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not a sadist. The ending is actually, I think, quite a happy ending, and it's kind of joyous, and but there'll be some more pain before that happens, of course. So, yeah.
And then drop the pencil, you're out, Chris Rock style. When you're writing and drawing the books, do you do the scripts first and sort of let it rest and come back and draw, or do you do a little bit at the same time?
Yeah, I'm usually a month ahead on the scripts from what I'm drawing, so I'll write a really quick script for Sweet Tooth, to be honest, because I'm drawing it myself, so I don't need to spend a lot of time on art direction and things, because I'm either seeing it as I'm writing it in my head, or that'll come later in the layout stage and stuff. So I'll write a loose script just to get the beats down, make sure all the moments that need to happen in the issue fit within the 20 pages. Any initial dialogue that comes to my mind while I'm writing, I'll jot that down, and then really I put it away until it's time to draw that month, and then the next stage of writing is in the layouts. I get to control that, and I get to the visual side of it becomes part of the writing, and the way I'll draw an expression on someone's face is part of the writing. So it's all very much one thing. I don't separate the writing from the drawing when I do my own stuff, and that's obviously the best way to work, I think. But then again, the collaboration I get with other artists on the DC stuff is really cool too. So I'm just honestly lucky that I get to do both, and I'm fast enough as an artist that I have time to do the other DC stuff, because I really do love doing both. So.
And just to finish up real quick, let's talk Animal Man. We're talking to Scott Snyder. You got a big crossover coming up that's sort of dovetails, touches the books together. I know, just like, ooh, and then it pops back out into your own stuff. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, clearly anyone who's been reading either one of the books knows we've been building from issue 1 to this thing, and they finally meet Buddy Baker and Alec Holland in issue 12, and something really horrible happens to the world, and issue 13 kicks off a big storyline called Rot World, where basically it's the entire DC universe consumed by the rot. They've lost, it's over, and only Buddy and Alec are left with a few sort of scattered heroes, but not the heroes you'd expect. C and D-list guys that have a connection to the rot, the green, or the red, are kind of their allies. People like Beast Boy or Poison Ivy, or people who are kind of immune to it, like Dead Man. You know, these are their sort of their allies. Whereas the big guns, Batman, Superman, the Flash, are still there, but they might not necessarily be the versions you are familiar with. So it's a really big story. It really is. It's an Animal Man Swamp Thing story at its heart, but it encompasses the entire DC universe, and it features pretty much any character we could squeeze in there. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Animal Man was such a big hit right out of the New 52. I feel like it jumped to the top. Did that make you sort of be like, oh man, I got to put some more superhero stuff in this. I got to push it in a different direction?
It was the opposite, because I took a lot of risks in the first issue and I made it a really dark book and a book about family and about the characters, and it was either going to work or it wasn't, and it worked, and so now I could just keep going with that. I didn't have to try to change it to make it more commercial, to try to save the book. I was successful, luckily, with what I wanted to do right away, so now I'm allowed to continue with it and see it through. So it's really great.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for taking a second to talk to us, and good luck with everything else. You guys, stay tuned for more from Comic-Con.